Okay, here we go. Got my recorder on, and we're going to be looking at how to do some elevations. Like I said in my email, that the ceiling part we've kind of covered before, so I thought I would cover the interior elevations. So I've kind of put together a building here that has some stuff in it that we'll see in these interior elevations. And one of the things that I found earlier is when you do the interior elevations, if you haven't started with the right template and you go to elevation, the interior one may not be there. But when I click on elevation, you'll notice over here I can now drop down and I have building elevation and I have interior elevation, and that's what I want to click on, is interior elevation. Notice the icon difference from it doesn't look like this on the building elevation, now it looks like this. And the way this interior elevation works, you can see as I get close to a wall, the little pointer points to whichever wall I'm closest to. And it's always going to be parallel to that. And you'd have to change that if you wanted it in a different way. And you notice objects don't phase it, it's only walls that phase it. Okay, so I'm going to put this thing right in here and show you some of the options. So as soon as I click on that, I now have an interior elevation. And over here in my browser, it will show another elevation now, and this is called an interior elevation. And that interior elevation, if I open that up, it's going to show that wall. And you can see that it pretty much shows from the bottom of the floor. Now I have a slab foundation in this. If you have a joist foundation, you'll see that's going to go to the bottom or wherever the foundation is. Probably going to want to hide the levels. You probably don't want that. And of course you could come down here and play around with whether you wanted these shaded or whether you wanted these realistic. You know, what you want to do with each one of these things. I'm going to leave it right now with my hidden line view. So I have this one view done, but I would like to look at some other things as well. Now you can crop this view. So if for some reason I only want it up to where the TV is, I can crop that out. You can make this whatever you want it to be. And then once you click off of that, that's saved in that configuration right there. So I'm going to go back to my floor plan here. And this was when I was playing earlier. I'm actually going to delete this one here. And when you click on this, it will show you the range that you have. So if I click out here, it shows me the range. So I'm actually going to shrink that. I don't need that much range. If I wanted to put this closer or back farther to see more things, I could do that. And now I'm going to click on this. Again, and now I can add additional views. For example, if I wanted to add this view, I can add that view I can add that view I can add that. So now I have additional views. And if you ever did want to rotate one of these views, this is where you would do it right here. So now if I go over here, I've added a bunch of different views. And let's take a look at those real fast. So I've got this view here, and it's showing the piano in the corner and the window and the door and the kind of the knee wall that's right there. That separates the living room from the dining room, and I'm just going to take these out again. See if I can hide those in view category, so I won't need those. Sometimes we put dimensions on views, interior elevations, if it's in a kitchen and you're trying to show countertop heights and things like that, but probably not on this one. Now this view, I have some of the living room, and I also have some of the kitchen, and maybe I just want the kitchen in this view. So I have a couple of different things that I can do. If I go back to my plan view, well, I have that activated, and I look at this view right here, it's going to show me. See, right now I have all of this, and I'm only seeing part of that, so I'm going to drop that back there. I'm going to take this and say, well, I just really want to see the kitchen stuff. I don't want to see, and I don't want to see those doors. That's what I want to see right there. And I can, even though my thing is over here, I can bring this up, and maybe I want to see that window, maybe that door right there. So I can adjust this. And then if I go back to this elevation view, and this would be the 1C elevation, I believe. Now you can see, all I'm seeing is what I want to see right there. And if I adjust these out, I can adjust here as well. If I wanted to see what that wall would look like, I can do that. So that shows me that wall is in there. So I can adjust them out here too. And again, once again, I'm probably going to hide these category in view. So there's that one. Let's take a look at what we got here in B. I'll leave that one alone. See what we got in D. Got a lot of stuff in D. The TV's trying to get in the way of the bookcase a little bit, so I'm going to go look at D in my level 1. And here's my D1 right here. If I click on that, it'll show me the level. So maybe I don't want the TV in there, I just want the... So I'm going to do that, and now when I go back to my elevation 1D, I should have the TV kind of out of there. Now one of the things I noticed about, if I go back to one of the ones that does show the TV, which one is it? I think it's this one, probably does. You'll notice if I zoom in here, the TV actually isn't sitting on top of the stand, it's buried in the stand. So that's one of the good things about an elevation. You can look at it, figure out some things that are wrong. So I'm going to raise that up about 4 inches, I think. Apply, and there, that's better. So now the TV is actually sitting on the stand rather than, and it is centered. It doesn't look like it is, but if you go back up to the level view, you can zoom in and see. Now these things kind of get in the way now. I don't know that I want all these tags here, so you just right click on that and you want to hide that in view 2 and hide the category, and it's going to take all that out of there for you. Still have your elevations over here. I can scroll down and show you that. Still have my interior elevations, and you may want to name these as well. And so if I open this one up, and I could say, okay, well that's the south wall, so I can right click here and just click on rename, and let's call that south wall. Oops. And these should all be in caps, by the way, so it'll show up that way on the drawing. Call that one south wall. Let's see, this one, we'll call that kitchen view. So I'm going to rename that kitchen view. Okay, with that. And then this one I'm going to call the, this would be the, let's see, this is the east wall, I believe. We'll rename that the east wall. And then finally this one is the, we'll call that the fireplace view. How about that? So I'm going to rename that the fireplace. So now I have all those done, and now I'm going to start a sheet and put them on the sheet. So right now, if you look, I have no sheets at all. So I'm going to have to go to View, and I'm going to have to go to Sheet, and I'm going to load a C-size sheet. C-size, open, and then OK. Now, if we go back to those, when these were created, you'll notice the scale was 1/8 inch equals 1 foot, which is really small for an elevation. So I'm going to change that. And I was playing with this earlier. 1/2 inch equals 1 foot is nice if you can fit it, but I couldn't fit those. So I'm going to go back and take each one of these and change it to a 3/8 equals 1 inch. And I think that will fit for me. And while I'm on this one, I'm going to take those levels off. And so now I'm going to go down to my sheet that I created, and I'm going to pull these elevations in one at a time. And I could have fit that one in there. I probably could have got these a 1/2 inch actually, now that I think about it, but maybe not. And you could also, you could highlight one, maybe if you wanted to really show some detail, one particular one. So now you can see they're labeled correctly, and they have the correct name that we want on there. And the only thing I do is sometimes, again, if this thing is not where you want it to be, or you want to shrink that down, you got to click on the edge of the view, and then you can shrink that down. And I kind of like to do that. I don't like that thing hanging out there like that, so I'm going to pull it in. And you could have one of these shaded, all of them shaded, and you'll do that back in the view, and then that would change them in here. So if I went back to this view, the kitchen view, and I changed the shading on that view to realistic, okay, and then I go back to the sheet, and that's now going to be realistic. So that's elevations. If you have any questions, email me. I'm going to be out of town till Wednesday. I'll be in class on Thursday. But if you email me at my Blue Ridge, I should be able to answer any questions that you have, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.